In this video, we're going to make the 3 most used sounds in electronic music. These are the 3 most used sounds because of their versatility, ease of use, and their simplicity. These sounds are great to know because they're perfect to learn sound design with, and just by learning how to make these sounds, you'll open your doors to being able to make millions of other really amazing sounds. Let's jump into it. The first sound we're going to make is the dance pluck. And this sound is so popular and widely used because of its versatility. This is one of those sounds that you could use for a melody, you could use it for your chords, you could use it as a bass, you could use it as an atmosphere, an ARP. Doesn't really matter what you want to use this sound for, you can use it as that sound. And the coolest part about this sound is that once you know how to make this, your door opens to a whole new world of other sounds that you're going to know how to make, because you can edit little things about the sound and make it sound completely different. Let's go ahead and jump in and make this. So the chords we're going to be using in this tutorial today sound like this. I'm going to take these chords, lay them down on a new synth layer. So now I have Serum loaded up here with no effects on, and I'm going to use Serum to make these sounds today because a lot of you guys have Serum, and there's also a free trial that you could test the synth out for free. But just know that everything I do in this synth, since synths are pretty similar across the board, you could directly apply everything I'm doing here to your synth of choice. So to make this sound, I always initialize my preset, and then default waveform, analog, and then basic shapes. And I'm going to turn wavetable position to 2. This gives us a saw wave. And then I'm going to turn on filter, take my cutoff knob, turn it to the left, and I'm going to tighten the filter just a little bit by clicking that twice. I'm going to go down to envelope 2, drag it to cutoff, and then I'm going to pull sustain all the way down. And now we should get this sound. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of character to this sound. I'm going to take this blue ring around the cutoff knob and just pull it down a little, just so we can warm the sound up a little bit. I'm going to go to effects, delay, because any type of percussive synth sounds really good with echo. I'm going to put ping pong on just to move the delay around. And then I'm going to add reverb. And we get that sound. But it doesn't have to end there. My favorite thing to do with this sound is use it to add some type of rhythmic melody or some type of rhythmic chords. I'm going to take the same chords that I already have down here, but they're in some kind of dotted rhythm. I think it's a dotted 8th rhythm. And that's cool because we could take a sustained sound and layer these on top of it. Yeah! And because this sound is percussive, we could actually use the same sound to add a melody to what we already have here. I'm going to duplicate this sound, so now we have another track with the same sound, and I'm going to write a simple melody that follows the rhythm of those chords. Now, since we have the same exact type of sound as our melody, I'm just going to go back to the chords and watch what happens when we add some unison to them. They fill out and get really wide. And so now if we layer that on top of our melody, we get that sound. This next sound is so popular because it's perfect for idea generation and it always works no matter what. You can use this sound in any song and it almost always sound good. because of its simplicity and its warmth. This sound is a saw pad. We're going to take the same chords. I'm going to open a fresh instance of Serum, initialize the preset, go up here to the waveform, analog. I'm going to take basic shapes, and I'm going to go to wavetable position, load up a saw wave. Last thing I'm going to do is just turn on a filter, tighten the filter 2 notches, and that's it. Listen to this sound. I've guaranteed you've heard this sound at least 10,000 times. Watch how it seamlessly works under the dance pluck as a chord layer. Or how it seamlessly harmonizes with these beautiful dance vocals. This sound is so useful because of its simplicity and because how foundational it is for other sounds. If we just simply increase the unison here, we now have a super saw. Okay, so we have the saw pad and we have the dance pluck. What are we missing? The 808. The funny thing about the 808 is that it's really big in the hip hop industry, and when you say 808, you automatically think, oh, it's a hip hop sound. That's actually not true. It's very versatile and very, very popular sound used in electronic music. I'm going to show you how to make one. Go ahead up to menu and initialize the preset, and for this sound, we're going to go to analog and basic shapes, and then we have a sine wave. And then all we have to do is pull sustain down, and we have a pretty raw 808 sound. But we're going to make it sound a little better. If you notice, there was a little bit of clicking in between each note, and that's because down in the sub bass region, sounds could get a little bit sensitive, so we just have to open the attacker release a little bit. And that sounded a little bit better. The bass pattern I'm using is the bottom of the chords too, and it looks like this. Bang. We can tweak the length of our 808 with the decay, but it still doesn't sound that good, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down an octave so it sounds a little bit fuller. Here's a pro tip for the best range to use your 808s in order to get the fullest, fattest sub bass sound. You want to make sure that 808 is hitting in between 40 and 80 hertz. And when your notes are hitting in between there, you're going to get the strongest sub bass sound, and you're ready to start designing the 808. The next thing I like to do is add distortion, and I'm just going to click down here to post, and I'm going to grab this little EQ looking thing and distort up to around 300. And you notice how you could actually hear the 808 now. And once you get a good sound, we could go even farther with the design. I like to make my 808s punchy, so I'm going to build what's called a transient on the attack of this 808, or the front of this 808. So I'm going to grab a new envelope, drag it to this CRS area, it stands for coarse, and we're going to hold shift and option and just click so we get that blue thing to the right. And now the 808 is going to be all messed up. I'm going to pull down the sustain. So I'm going to turn the decay now so tight that you barely even hear it down pitch, but it's going to create a punch. Whoops. Isn't that awesome? Let's go ahead and drop the pads. and maybe bring in the vocals to see if those vocals communicate well with our 808. There you go, guys. Those are the 3 most used, most popular sounds. I highly recommend practicing around with them because they're great sounds to learn sound design with. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out my course at the top of the description below if you would like my one-on-one personal help with your music, and I'll see you in the next video.